This is a podcast about just opinions.
Hey, yo, this is what it is. This is what I think.
We all have kind of outlandish takes.
Like, don't at me.
If there's other free-form stuff that comes with it, we cover that too.
Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on. Pause.
All right, so this is part 2 of our inaugural Don't At Me podcast, a continuation from the last episode. If you're wondering what exactly is Don't At Me, I highly encourage you to listen to episode 1, where Chance and I try to figure that out. We pick up our conversation pretty much talking about Star Wars. We have some opinions on the Star Wars saga, which I'm not going to spoil where we stand on all of that, but I think it's definitely going to stir up some conversation, some follow-up debate. We start talking about villains and horror films and over-the-top movies, and things just kind of end when our friend Mr. Jameson there starts to take too much of a toll. So go ahead, give us a listen. Again, this is the second episode. Future ones will be far more structured. But, you know, he and I were catching up. Chance and I were like, you know what? Let's go ahead and record our conversation, share our takes and opinions with some people, and see what everybody thinks. This is episode 2. Give it a listen. Let us know what you think, and please enjoy.
You know what's overrated is Star Wars.
Shit's trash, really. Nowadays. Actually, you know what? I will say this. I like the original trilogy, 4, 5, 6. I like the fucking 1, 2, and 3 as well. Like the new shit.
Here's my thing. Like, I like all of them.
I really don't like the rest.
So I like 4 through 6. 3 was so weak to me that, like,
You talking about out of like 1, 2, and 3? Episode 3?
the reason is because
Episode 3 was the best one. That's my favorite.
Initially it was, but like Vader got no like he didn't earn anything. He got no credentials, man. Like here's what makes me upset. 4 through 6, they build up Vader as like the best villain of all time. He's scary, he's daunting, he's this tall, menacing figure. You don't see his face, deep voice, cool looking outfit with a red sword, you know, lightsaber, I know. But when you've seen it, you don't know what a lightsaber is. You're just like, man, that's a cool looking dude. And then, you know, you hear all about his like crazy past, like, man, he was cold. But then you go back and you look and like
you actually see it. And you're like, yeah.
He got lucky. He was like, you know, poor, whatever. That's cool. They bring him on. He doesn't do anything in 1 that's noteworthy other than that's pod racing, which it has its own issues. You go to number 2, and all of a sudden he's like this young, arrogant, whiny.
That was like a
a
romantic.
Yeah,
like,
he's just like emo, and then he gets his arm cut off. Nothing happens. And then 3 starts out strong. He kills Dooku, and like, you know, but like I really thought Palpatine was like, he is the most overrated villain of all time. Like his powers are there, but like he's lame to me. Put it that way. He doesn't seem menacing. You know, he's got all these force powers and stuff like that. But then like what kills me is that we never see who did Vader beat? Who did Anakin beat? Dooku. That's it. Well, Obi-Wan beat him, and that was a good fight. But it was, you know.
Well, you gotta think like
he killed a
really
bunch of kids.
When he
When
he became Darth Vader, like when he went to the dark side, that's when he got badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but they don't show any of that, and I feel like you really can't be badass.
But I mean,
unless
it's like
you're fighting other force.
But it's like the
people.
birth of that. I mean, like, I'm not a super nerd to where I like read the comics or anything like that, but I know that shit's like in the comics. You know what I mean? Like,
they gotta make that in the movies then. Put it this way: Star Wars lore is excellent. The concept of the Force, the dark side, the light side, Jedi, Sith, like the whole world and the mythos are awesome. But maybe it's just the movies then that suck. Like 4 through 6 were good.
Yeah, actually, you should think about it.
But it started as movies, which is the worst part about it. You know, like 4 through 6, were great. But then it's like, okay, maybe there's just like 3 good movies and like a bunch of shitty other movies. Because like one, and I guess what I'm saying, like, not that the movies were shitty, the movies were entertaining, but like to me, everything centers around Darth Vader. It all centers around Anakin Skywalker.
It's supposed to.
At least it has, right? Up until the new trilogy. But if you're going to base it on that, and the whole thing is predicated off this chosen one turned bad, it's like, he didn't do any of that. So to me, it's like, your initial hypothesis is just, it's a failed argument.
That's why I like the Jar Jar Binks fucking, like, the fucking conspiracy, man. Like, because it actually really makes sense. Like, for Jar Jar Binks to be used by Palpatine to, like, because he's the one that makes everything happen.
Every episode.
He makes everything happen.
He started
bro.
fading into the shadows.
Yeah.
The show less and less.
He's the one that actually gave Palpatine the power because he's like the speaker or some shit. You know?
He's finessing everybody.
Man.
You know, the one subtle difference that they could have made to the movies to make all the trilogies, or all of them at least a little bit better, it would have given... Because, I mean, put it this way, they're entertaining. Like, I liked one because of, you know, Darth Maul and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like, I'll get back to that point at the end of, like, why I say it's overrated.
Mm-hmm.
But, you have 3, one simple change. If they made Anakin beat Mace Windu in a fight, then I'm like, okay, then it validates Vader. And that's how it was in the video game. They should have made it like that way in the movies.
See, I think that
because they got lucky. He got lucky, and maybe they did that so that Mace Windu lives. Maybe they did something like that. But it's like, at least show him beat somebody. Show him, validate, like, him. You know, he killed Dooku. That was cool, but like, show more than that. Instead of having the stormtroopers wipe out all the Jedi, show him hunting like the big ones, like, what was the Ki-Adi-Mundi with the big head or whatever his name was? Like, all those guys. Show him taking those guys on. Show him taking on the council, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all at once. Like, there's so, like, little things like that they could have done.
That's just how pussy Star Wars is, like, movies have always just been. It's just like pussy, you know? Like,
well, and then, like, the new trilogy I've enjoyed also. Like, I actually like 7 and 8. But the thing is, I don't see... Like, I feel like 8 was kind of an ending. 9, it's like, okay, how is the threat bigger in 9? Like, Kylo Ren is weakened and he's by himself, basically. He hasn't beaten anybody either. You know what I mean? Like, they always show him getting whooped. Like, I don't want to see, like, okay, you can do all this cool shit, like Vader in Rogue One, where he just wipes those guys out in, like, 10 seconds.
That was like badass. The best scene ever in Star Wars.
Yeah, it really was. But I want to see him do that against somebody of equal, like, a level playing field. You know what I mean? And that's the same for, like, Kylo Ren. They don't show him beating anybody of equal skill. Like, Daisy Ridley, you know, Rey or whatever, is beating his ass every single time.
Yeah.
You know? And then the time he kills Snoke, he just kind of, you know, stoles him, kind of like, oop, hey.
Well, you know what I think happened with
and it's recycled plots. It's recycled plots.
You know what I think? Well, George Lucas has always said that was supposed to be a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? That they were supposed to, you know, mirror each other or whatever. But what I think that how they missed with the new trilogy, like, you know, 9 hasn't even came out yet or whatever, but it's not too soon, is they kind of, like, with social media nowadays, they kind of feed off that shit. It's like, oh, like, we gotta, you know, do what the, like, people want, you know, and, like, I feel like from the direction that they were going with with 7, you know, like, they changed it up by the time that 8, you know what I'm saying, went into production, you know, like, I just felt like they were getting fed by, like, social media.
They were speeding it up, yeah.
You know, like,
it was all forced.
And then, yeah, they started, like, and then forcing, you know, obviously, like, just different ideas, you know, like, that ain't been done or whatever, and it's like, why are you even doing it, you know? Like, And like it's all good, but like, because I like the movies, I like the action.
They're
but, like,
entertaining.
they're not.
The story.
They're
is
not great,
large.
but like, yeah, they're not like. It's just like, you know,
The lore.
I could do
like,
without.
I feel like the
my
best
focus
stories
is
are
Star Wars,
untold.
though.
Yeah. I like it, but it's just like it's overrated.
I watched
And
like some whole like
easy fixes, little things could
45-minute
change it.
video. It was like just this dude reading like
Yeah.
the entire history of Star Wars. It was like, what the fuck?
I just feel like they built the current like villains. When I say current, I mean like the central villains to be the toughest. Darth Vader and Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, who's gonna top that? Like, you can't create a threat stronger than like.
Do you think Palpatine's really like the most important?
Well, they're making it that way, and I think that's kind of lame because he's lame to me. He's like
He's actually been the same guy in
Yeah.
all the movies too.
He's getting younger, or at least like now he's like old again. But yeah, he doesn't. Obviously, he is threatening. He'd kill, like, if he was
Right.
in this world, like, he'd kill either
He
one
has
of us,
an
like,
interesting.
second.
He has a way better story than like anybody though.
It is interesting, but
Like
it's
with
just
Dark
like
Plagueis and shit like that.
I like the lightsabers, and I think like just like the big menacing villain is like the coldest. Like, so that's why I was like, all right, they made Vader this super guy, like best villain ever. Like
But see,
top
that's
five.
That's another.
Top
Yeah,
three.
most like,
You know?
Vader's my favorite character in Star Wars. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
something I do know for sure. Like,
Like,
there's some things you know
yeah.
for sure. I don't know my favorite song, but I know like the best villain is like it's him or like the Joker or. But I mean, he's like top three.
I would
Thanos
say
is kind of cold now too. Like Thanos is like entered pop culture a lot, but like Vader, I mean, it's just like if anybody said he's number one, I can't argue with them.
No.
But it's like they did such a shitty job giving him any kind of credentials. Like, why? Why is he the best villain ever? Because he
was 9 and he
hype.
spit game
He's the
at
Jay-Z
like
of Star
14-year-old.
Wars. He's the Jay-Z of Star Wars.
Nah,
it's all hype. It's all hype.
no. He was 9 and he spit game at a 14-year-old.
That's
bro.
true.
That's the. He was just like, "Yo, are you an angel?" You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Oh yeah." And he got it from then on.
That just shows the destructive power of
Man, this shit. That's just what it do.
destroys everything.
Bro, because
it
like
creates
really,
everything.
Because really, the trilogy is like mostly kind of about fucking Padme, too. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, she starts a lot of this bullshit.
yeah, that's true. She was connected. She
Because
was in
she's
middle
the
of all of
reason
it.
why, like, you know,
The
he had to,
royalty
like,
and stuff.
you know, that he's the person that he had to save to even put Palpatine. But you know he was the one, though, because Palpatine thought he was the one.
Vader.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but then he was trying to replace him with Luke when he was washed.
Well, that's because, like, he knew he was going to turn on him soon. But that's, like, deeper into the lore. You know what I mean? Like, he knew, you know?
They just need to have better representation of the story in the movies.
Yeah.
Which I want more movies. Look, just give me
But
more
I think, like,
pieces
Star
to
Wars is,
connect
like, some serious, like, nerd shit. And, like, they kind of want to keep it, like, you, like, you know, real with it. You know? Like,
You know what I feel like could make like lead to our big break is if we re-edited the first trilogy and just like put them out on like YouTube as like the better cut
like don't
to show off like our production skills. Like we don't make any
don't
money
kind
off
of
it.
rerun.
Yeah, I mean, and like I'm talking about not like a 10-minute version. I'm talking about a full-length feature film, but like just by replacing certain scenes because they're all like 2.5 hours. You could shave 30 minutes and it still feels like a full film with like all the BS cut out.
Yeah, I think the Joker too. Joker's like a cold ass villain.
I don't know which of my
Like-
favorite. I don't know shit, man. I don't know which my favorite Joker portrayal is because they're all very different. Like even including Mark Hamill, you got to include him too.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Bringing things full circle. Because I mean
the animated series.
Oh yeah,
I mean that was like revolutionary, and
it's like the best incarnation of Batman. My favorite incarnation of Batman.
It gives you the most of the canon. You know, obviously you can't fit all of those in the movies. You obviously do that in the comics, but it fits a lot of the canon and things that you can watch, and it builds up all of his villains because you never really saw like full in-depth, you know, mind analysis of all his villains until you got to the cartoon.
Yeah, I
so,
think that the cartoon.
And Mark Hamill was the leader there. You know, the voice and all of that.
Right.
It's crazy to believe he's the same guy.
I think that the cartoon was like, it was like the better incarnation of the entire like lore as a whole because like it could be
had
like
that noir look.
Yeah,
too.
like it was the look everything, man. Like the complexity with the characters.
Yeah,
like
Batman's voice was cool.
You like. Like how the screen will be like dark, you know what I'm saying? But you just like see like
his
you know,
eyes,
like his eyes and shit. Like that
it
shit
kind of
was
brought
like,
the comics to life. I guess
yeah,
you could say.
Like it was a perfect
It was
medium
deep too. I
it
mean,
was a perfect medium.
Like, I mean, it was when I say
it was mad deep.
It wasn't a kids show, and I don't mean that it was like inappropriate. It just like it was complex.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like if you watch Batman, like you kind of are way more intellectual. Like if the animated series, you know, like nowadays, like because that was a complex show. Like to understand those characters,
and that was interesting too because I like that they made the Killing Joke cartoon version recently, where they had. I mean, the beginning part was kind of weird, and it wasn't in the comics. Have you seen that one?
Killing Joke, yeah.
Where they have the sex scene with Batman and Batgirl in the video. It's just kind of like, that's weird. And like, not that it was like apparently big comic fans and purists are like, that's terrible. And this is ruins the canon. Like, you know, it's like, I don't really care about all that. It was just like unnecessary. It just didn't add anything. It was boring. It was weird. Like, I don't. Anyway, the rest of that story though was crazy, and it was cool because that shows a Joker origin story, but every portrayal has had its own incarnation. Like, hey, this is where it started. This is where it started. Da, 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 da. So that's another reason why the Joker's so interesting, because nobody really has, the canon hasn't really been set for like, hey, this is his history.
Right.
It's all mysterious. Because he's not menacing. He's just, you know, chaos. He does whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's what's fucking cool about the Joker. And he was purple. That's another thing about, like, Batman, too. Like, what I associate things with. Like, colors. You know? Like, how I remember the marketing on Batman Forever. Like, the green, like, with the river. And, like, yeah, but, like, you remember, like, the Mr., like actually it wasn't Batman. It was Batman and Robin. They had like the different color posters and shit like that. Like
Batman Forever had all the neons though.
Yeah. They have like,
but it like just kept getting more and more ridiculous. And they had like the nipple suits and like the Batman card and like
what if they had like
Mr. Freeze?
Like, you know,
I mean, shit, they're not far off.
Just right there.
I think that, I mean, because I like the Heath Ledger Joker, obviously.
Nah, that shit was like the best Batman, bro.
Best Batman, yeah. But if you say like which Joker was better, it's like, man, they were just so different. Because I like Jack Nicholson in that cartoonish, comic-y version of the Joker. But Heath Ledger was excellent in like a real world version of like, man, if that happened today,
that would be the Joker.
That would be the Joker, you know? So it's like, and like as far as performance, I mean, Heath Ledger's character was so much more complex. Mm-hmm. So I'll give him credit for being the better actor, no doubt. But as far as what portrayal I like more, it's tough to pick between those two. Right. And the thing is, I think this new one too could be just as good. I mean, everything that we've heard, I mean, this one scores the highest reviews.
Well, you know, at the same time, at the time the first Batman, like Batman 1988 came out, like Tim Burton, I could actually see the Joker being the Joker then. You know, in like 1988, you know, like being like a Jack, you know, because people were still doing like coke and shit. It was just like mob bossy, you know, like because that movie's so like weird because it's one of those
timeless,
like time like ambiguous, like it's like ambiguous, you know, like that shit's crazy because they dress like modern kinda, but it's like still like 30s, you know, like. That shit's weird. That noir shit.
That's when Batman's at his best, and it kind of has that feel like it's in like the late 20s, because it's the Depression. Yet somehow the Waynes are rich, and you know they have all this money. Which I'm curious to see if they actually do it. I think they were talking about doing it, but I don't know if it actually is coming to fruition. If they did the Flashpoint paradox, are you familiar with that one?
Somewhat, yeah. Like,
so that's the one where the Flash, I think, runs back so fast, something like that. He goes back in time. It's either him or like Reverse Flash. Somehow, some way, his mom never had died or something like that. Because his mom had died in the comics. Somehow she didn't die. And it had some kind of crazy ripple effect where he didn't have his powers. Instead of Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed, Bruce Wayne gets killed. His dad becomes Batman, but he kills. So he has like a gun and he'll just go around like shooting people. His mom goes crazy because the son died and she turns into the Joker. And then just like all kind of other stuff. I think Aquaman and Wonder Woman, like their clans go to war. And then it just becomes like chaos. But yeah, it was like a really cool story because of the Batman angle. You know, it was just like, what? And then Superman, the government catches him and puts him in captivity, so he gets real weak.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to like free him, and then once he gets freed, you know, the sun gives him his powers, and then he starts helping out. But it was crazy. And then I think it was like he somehow reverses it, but it's funny, they made an animated version of that, and Batman's talking shit whenever they unlock the Superman, and he's all weak and skinny. He's like, this motherfucker's the strongest guy. Because it's like Flash remembers how things used to be.
Yeah.
So he's trying to explain this to the current timeline. Like, nah, this is... And everybody's like, yeah, you know, we'd rather we die. Like, Bruce Wayne's parents like, we'd rather we die and our son lives. We'll help you out with this. And everybody's trying to reverse it because it also prevents that massive war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman, because it's like destroying the world.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in everybody's best interest.
Oh shit.
So they start helping each other out. But that was a good storyline. But that was just
I heard about that shit. That shit sounds fucking crazy though.
Yeah,
check that shit out.
It was on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore, but it was a Netflix movie for a while.
I would probably say the person I'd be like scared the most of like any like medium type shit, you know, like any type shit like that, would be like Michael Myers. Like if I like seen the nigga, I'm like, oh
see,
shit.
I don't know. For some reason, I was never afraid of the movies though.
I wasn't either, but I would be like, yo, if I seen this nigga, like,
yeah, because
a lot of people tell me Chucky. Because I ask people a lot. I be like, yo, like out of any like person like you would be scared of, you know what I mean? Like really scared of.
I guess because he's like hidden in plain sight, like unassuming, you know, like not like obviously if you see him you'd be like shit, but like, you know what I mean? Like I think all of those innate fears of it, it's like it might be unsuspecting, like you wouldn't notice at first, and then when you did, like it's too late. Whereas like if you see big ass Michael Myers approach and you're like, what the fuck? Freddy Krueger was probably my answer as a kid. Like I was.
See, the thing about Michael Myers, like I feel like you wouldn't even see him approaching. Like that's why it was so scary. Like you just like run into him, you know, like real quick, and it's just like, oh shit, like it's just over, you know.
I like those memes that say like, this is in between your way of getting, you know, $1 million. It's like you finna catch these heads. Michael Myers is definitely up there.
Either mine or mine's like Candyman.
Candyman. If I saw Freddy Krueger right now, though, I'd be like, "What? I'm asleep? Like, what the hell am I about to do now?" That would scare me.
See, Freddy Krueger was always too like comedic. Like even
it became it. The first one didn't feel. It was too punny. But and the new one, as bad as it was, tried to make it a little bit darker.
Yeah, that shit was just horrible though.
It wasn't very
I think CGI ruins a lot of shit.
Oh yeah. And shit looks scarier when it's got the like think back in the past, The Exorcist.
Practical effects.
Yeah. I mean all that kind of stuff. It just looks more realistic than the CGI, which, you know, you see any kind of possession movie.
Yeah,
has all the nice feels. It gets you the creepy, and it's got a lot of like the build up. But then they show like CGI bees flying out of a girl's mouth. It's just like, that's not scary. It looks fake. It's dumb.
Yeah,
that movie was pretty scary at some parts though. Have you ever seen that one, The Possession?
Nah, I ain't never seen that shit.
You should check that one out. It's about that Jewish box.
A Jewish box?
They find this Modest Yahoo's in it.
What?
Yeah, and it was like a mainstream movie.
Damn.
You should look into it.
Jewish box.
There's like
That's
a demon trapped in it.
Oh shit.
It's scary. But it's also very cheesy in some parts. Low-key scary movie, The Darkness.
Never seen it.
The girl who plays Rogue in the X-Men movies. The original X-Men movies. The original one.
And
something like that,
and
yeah.
Yeah,
that one. There you go. She's in it, and I don't really remember anybody else that's in it. But I really don't remember much of the plot either. But it was something like they move into this house and it gets haunted, and it's really eerie, and it doesn't have a happy ending. And this was like in the time where I think it came out probably like 98, maybe somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. This was a time where happy ending was all you got. Then it almost went the opposite way, where every movie had a bad ending. But that was like the first time I remember a horror film having an unhappy ending.
Yeah.
I guess Rosemary's Baby, but that was more like artsy though.
Yeah.
And at those times, you know, maybe shit didn't have a happy ending, but you know which movie I haven't seen is it Mother with Jennifer Lawrence?
I haven't seen that either.
There's like a whole thing about it though. Like,
what's about it? Tell me this is like a thing.
But I don't know what the thing is. I've avoided. Yeah, well, I've avoided whatever the thing is because I feel like knowing what the thing is a spoiler alert. Like, I think if you know what the thing...
How do you know what the thing is if you
because
don't know
people are
what the
like,
thing
oh
is?
my god, have you seen Mother? And it's like, no, like, you
so
gotta
just like
see
how
it.
you're telling me, like right
Yeah,
now,
it's just
like that.
It's just rumor.
It's like some real shit. Like what we go?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Shit, like that.
But they have like, I've seen articles that I've avoided though that say like, Mother, some people say is the sickest movie. I'm like, sick? What?
What do you mean sick?
I don't know. I'm telling you though, man. I'm
What
telling you.
Sick?
We gotta see it.
Nah, for real. What have you heard about this movie? This don't seem like
that's
that.
all I've heard, and I didn't pursue anymore because I'm like, once I watch it, like I don't want to know anything because I feel like it'll ruin a surprise.
How many people have told you this?
I've read that. I think like
so how many
5
sources
people.
total?
I remember for sure Emily's brother and sister, or brother and his girlfriend. Sorry, it's not his sister. I don't know. I got you. Those two. Who else? I think some people I've heard at work have said that. I don't know if it was Anna. I remember the location of the conversations, but I don't necessarily remember who said that. But I think it had to have been like 3 or 4 different people at least. And I remember reading, and then you'll see like the YouTube, shocking film or most disturbing or most
I've seen them on that. That's how I see
on there. It's like, so I'm like, okay, there's like a thing, but I don't even want to know how, because I feel like if you know how it's disturbing, then that tells you like the spoiler. It's like, I just wait and see.
You know what? The only thing that I can like really think about anything about that movie. It's just like kind of like frames of Jennifer Lawrence looking like just like
It has a
like
Rosemarys
tension.
Baby feel.
Like yeah, it's just like that tension, you know, in like each frame of the movie. You know, like what the fuck? This just seems intense. Like
I think it's something sexual, but I could be wrong.
oh, for sure, I gotta watch that shit.
I don't know for sure, but I think that's kind of the hunch I've gotten. I think somebody might have told me it was like, because it's like a party where there's like a bunch of men and just her, and like it's sick, it's crazy, and that's the hunch I get. Like what could it be? I'm like, how disturbing is it? They're like, you just, and I'm like is it like gang rape? And they're like, no, and I'm like animals or something like that. Like what? I don't understand. Like how the fuck is it crazy? Like you just have to see it. I'm like, all right, let's check it out. Not that either of those were like, hey, I'm rushing to see this, but I'm like, I don't want to see this. So let me, if I guess right, tell me now.
For real. Yeah, it's looked like even interesting to even like watch like on that, because I think it was like on Netflix or some shit. Like I passed by or some shit, but I was just like, nah, I'll just pass this one up for now. I don't even think I read the description. I was just like, Jennifer Lawrence is cool, but this seems weird. This don't seem right.
Something's just
I don't
off.
think it's right.
Yeah. It's all just like the way that the film was like cut. It kind of has that. Have you ever heard of, is it Unforgivable?
You talking about the
But I feel like people probably forgot about that. So, this is excellent podcast. What's her name? Monica Bellucci?
Yeah, that's the chick that like made out with Neo, right?
Right?
Yeah, that French guy on the Matrix, like this like lady.
So she was in this movie. I'll pull it up here in a second. I think it was, I don't know if it was Unforgivable. What was it called? Come on.
I think I know what you're talking about, even if it wasn't called Unforgivable.
It had that dude from Ocean's 12.
Fuck, you just narrowed it down.
The French dude from Ocean's 12. God, this is terrible. Irreversible?
The French dude.
Irreversible. Events over the course of one traumatic night in Paris unfold in reverse chronological order as the beautiful Alex is brutally raped and beaten by a stranger in the underpass. Wait, that's the plot? That shit's heavy. I don't want to see that shit anymore. Oh, no, but so what I had heard about this movie is that the way they filmed it is they set it up to where there's this very low like humming that you can't really you can't be cognizant of, but it's meant to make you kind of uneasy. And they said that goes throughout the whole movie, where some people can't watch the entire movie. They stop watching it, or like they left the theater or something like that, because a lot of it had to do with that. It's crazy, the little things like that can kind of build and add to you.
But yeah, I mean, that kind of, I mean, if I went to the movies, I paid for some shit, and I'm like, yo, what the
I deal with it.
For real? I'd be like, yo, like even at the time, when that shit come out?
If it's like, it depends on what it is. It was, I think it was, damn it, I just closed it out. Let me see. 2002.
Yeah, even at that time, I'd probably be like, yeah.
If it's like rapey, then I'm like, nah. But if it's just like gory, I'm just kind of like, this is ridiculous, but I'll watch it. Like, I mean, some of the Saw movies or things like that, where it almost becomes comical how over, like Terrifier.
Yeah.
Like how over the top, some people.
Sometimes I can't even watch, like, not like Terrifier, but like fucking even like some like Saws and shit. Like, not that I like couldn't watch them, like
some of them are hard to watch.
I was just like, man, what the fuck? Like, why are you like? Yeah.
It gets to the point where it becomes over the top.
Yeah,
and it doesn't really seem realistic, and it's just like, all right, you guys, like Final Destination. The first one was cool. And even the first one was kind of like a bunch of dumb people, and they were fun.
It got fun, like, as it went on.
But they got so ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
it
the
did.
kid that gets squished by, was it a piano or like the glass?
Yeah,
the glass
that was one of the best deaths though.
And the grill blows up. The grill blows
and
up.
And then it fucking like, you talking about the end of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Those are so
with the car wreck.
Yeah.
Was that like the second one?
The tree. I think it was the tree. Or not the tree. The big logs on the 18-wheeler.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one, dude. Yeah.
That one was pretty good, but then it was stupid because the girl from the first one that survived was in like the crazy house.
She blew up.
Yeah.
A lot blowing up on that one.
Like Death had like started getting salty. Like that's where it got kind of cheesy. Like don't make Death conscientious.
Yeah, because remember the kid that the glass fell on? It was supposed to like he was trying to come on. It was like so many ways. You know, he was at the dentist.
Yeah,
that was good. That was some choking. Good suspense.
It was entertaining.
Like,
yeah, but they got so ridiculous where I wouldn't even put them in horror category at that point. They were just kind of like comedy.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've seen like up to at least 4 of them.
I honestly don't. I don't know how many.
Because I remember one with a race car, something.
You know what it reminds me of? What was an awful.
I always remember the first
part of movies.
Roller coaster.
Yeah, awful part of movies is. The awful part of cinematic history was when like 3D became a thing again. And there's like certain, like Avatar, they created the movie to look very artsy. But then like if you had action or horror films, they started having those cheesy, throwing an axe at you.
Yeah.
that jumps out of the screen.
Like the third Jason?
Third Friday the 13th? Or like movies that are made for 3D. Not like made for 3D in the sense like I said, like Avatar, which just like comes out of the screen. But I'm talking about the ones that are like our fourth wall.
Right.
With the 3D. It's just kind of cheesy. Like, okay, you're throwing an axe at me. Like,
sure.
It's entertaining too because it kind of makes you jump back. But it ruined. I feel like it just ruined movies because it became such a ploy. It was overused, annoying, and it just came. It started eating into like creativity.
Right. One of the first 3D movies I saw like in this day and age time was Monster House.
That was entertaining, yeah.
That shit was a good movie, man.
Yeah, that was like, 2010 or something like that?
Nah, it was like 2006. Something like that. 2006, 2007, somewhere around there.
I couldn't remember, because I do remember it was at some graduation where I was about to graduate. So it wasn't high school or college, but I think, because
that was like one.
I remember working at AMC. Pretty sure I was working at AMC when they came out.
That shit was like dope, because I was like, whoa. This shit is tight. Because it wasn't like, it didn't seem like it was that much 3D, but I remember at one point, it was like a kind of a shadow hand coming out the screen, and I was like, yo, that shit right there is like,
06 through 07 was like, maybe even 08, that range was like one of the best movie eras, I feel like, just in like a very short period of time. Like, it's just every movie, I feel like, for a while. Like, that was, like, kind of a peak.
Yeah, I saw a lot of movies at that time. Throughout.
Yeah, same. And put it that way, there were more...
I saw more bullshit movies at that time.
Well, that was the initial point I was going to make. An hour ago, we were talking about Breaking Bad. The beauty of Breaking Bad is that it exists, but, like... It kind of spawned the trickle effect of everybody investing in TV, where they started pulling away all the good talent, whether that's crew or cast, and now movies are just not what they used to be, and the whole experience of going to the movies, so many people aren't with it, which I still love going to the movies. So I feel like movies are at this, like, downfall right now. Well, they've started kind of coming back, but I mean, it wasn't what we had 10, 15, 20 years ago. Oh, everything's in TV now.
And that's another thing with Breaking Bad. Not only was it like a real good show to bring people to TV, like it was one of those first shows that people like streamed and like binge on, like that whole culture, So it was like, oh, we're into this now, So that is when like producers start getting like more TV shows, and just like start catching on Netflix, doing on TV, and then like with the streaming companies and shit. Now I think that's about the fuck up shit though. Like how like we're about to have like Disney Plus and like all these extra kind of
everything is separate now.
Yeah, that's trash. Because essentially you're paying like $5 to $10 for everything,
and it's just gonna go back to everything costing $180. Like I have these 20 different channels, $200 a month. Then it's like I wish I could just pay $200 a month to have all these channels, and then cable comes right back.
Right.
Or maybe that's where something like a Sling TV just revolutionizes and does something like that.
Well, I've been seeing this advertising for these
like more channels. I mean,
this new thing. I guess it's probably not new because I've seen it like, before. But Movies Anywhere. You ever seen like advertisement for that shit? It's like an app, and I guess you can get like if you have like buy movies. I guess you know what I'm saying. You can like put in a little code and shit like that. You know how
they
like,
need more of that.
Like,
but they need a wider library though. That's the problem I have because I just reorganized in this room.
I think this is it. You should probably look that shit up.
Maybe
it's just called like a Movie Anywhere or some shit.
That would be perfect because I took 100 DVDs and I put all the boxes in the trash bag. I put them in the attic.
You put the boxes in the trash bag?
Nah, they're in the attic though.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, I don't think because I don't
in a case one of those binders.
I put the bind. They're all in the binders now, but part of me, I'm like, I could just get rid of these, but then I'm like, an obscure movie like Meteor Man. Where am I? It's an awful movie, but where am I going to watch it outside of DVD? Like, you can't stream that anywhere. They're not going to have that on YouTube. Even it's so obscure. Like a lot of those titles just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want to get rid of all of my DVDs. I saved them all.